the people that you are about to encounter this evening are extraordinary human beings.
Life inspires me to write. There's beauty in art and life and everything really. There's inspiration from everywhere.
Basically, writing inspires me to write. My favorite bit about poetry is basically creating something out of nothing. I take poetry as something that's not a side piece as many people would. Dear Bryan, one day you wake up in the morning and find nobody next to you. I remember one time somebody actually asked me to be basically like a sideshow in a show, and they was like, no, you always write poems, so just go on stage and do it. I'm like, that's not how this works, you know. that is definitely not how this works. And poetry is something that is more complex than the human mind can fathom. Poetry is everywhere. Half, in fact, like maybe like 3/4 of the Bible were actually written in poetry and in spoken word. And words have the power to create, destroy, and reform anything. And basically, that is why I love spoken word. You can turn a whole room into a church just by saying 3 sentences. You can make somebody that feels sick turn healed by speaking just the right things. And if you put positivity and the right type of energy into a room, like there's just this whole result that just comes out of doing something beautiful because you want to. And yeah, poetry is the sexiest thing on this world, after ribs.
Years ago, what would you advise your 5 years ago self?
Write your feelings down. Write them all down. Yeah.
And to the Union, Yolanda. I am the product of a nation that overcame, with reconciliation, unity, and growth being our aim. I am the aftermath, following my parents' footpath. I lost parts of myself I never knew about. You can't tell me that's right. That can't be justified.
So, what do you hope to achieve with this event?
We hope to inspire people, and we hope that there's people who look forward to something and there's culture being brought to this island.
Yeah, basically teach people that there's more to art than simply just doing something because it's fun, and actually doing something because you're passionate about it, and that there's nothing that you can achieve. I mean, we have basically done a lot on this island so far, and I mean, we are, maybe it's finding myself alone in this world, not understanding where I belong. Maybe I'm the Alice in my story and I fell down the hole and broke my leg, and I never got to Wonderland. Maybe I'm still higher in shrewdness, with a broken leg, believing I'm actually there when I'm not.
Nigerians! These guys are lost! Oh my god! Right? Like just the other day, I was just going to shops and I happened to wear stuff. I saw a bunch of Nigerian guys and they saw me. Like they thought at home. They're speaking in pidgin. I'm really not getting it. I didn't know what to do. I was nervous. I was like, I'll find out.
Continue doing it, and yeah, we basically are it.
So, any advice for any poets? Like, you want to give some poets any advice? Anyone on the island who are trying or aspiring to be like you?
Well, personally, this is my first time performing, and to anyone who wishes to share their stories, you have the platform to. You just need to take the first step into doing that.
Men, women, children, all killed. Rape, fire, guns, machetes, spears, knives. And if you want numbers, that's 1,070,014 dead lives.
Basically, faith, consistency, and hard work. Those are the answers you need in life. Never stop just because you have one bad show, but you have one bad set. you did one bad poem doesn't mean that it's the end of the world for you. There are so many possibilities you can do. You just have to reshape yourself, remodel yourself, and basically re-envision where you want to be in the next 10 years of your life. I started poetry 10 years ago and been doing this my whole teenage life, and now I'm here almost halfway to 50 very soon.
So what's your favorite thing about poetry?
The vulnerability. So you're able to just be you in your writing, in whatever you're speaking. You're able to fully express who you are. And that's beautiful.
What is spoken word? What is poetry? Poetry is the rhythmical dancing of those words to create a masterpiece.
Favorite thing I love, I mean, I hope the audience understand spoken word. My favorite thing about poetry is alliteration. I love alliterations. So stuff like Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers, like those things that have like those sounds, I love it. so I love alliterations. That's like my favorite thing about spoken word, technical terms. But then generally what I love about spoken word is expression. Like you can just be who you are. That's it. I feel like spoken word allows you to express yourself more than music. It's like you can be who you are completely, and that's just it.
So maybe you will understand this if I speak in your language. You see, I'm done watching how I talk. I'm done watching how I try. So let's talk like this, the way you speak on Twitter, a thread. After all, isn't that what is holding your life together? A thread. You've forgotten that you, a thread, have been knit into the DNA of the Creator. Who told you? Who told you that this version of you is not good enough?
Believe in yourself. As cliche as that sounds, I feel like what stops many people from being great is they don't have that self-belief, and they're waiting for people to like give them validation and be like, oh, you're good. Like, start on your own. Even if you have just like 2 people that believe you're good, start on your own, work on your craft, watch videos, read about spoken word, read about poetry, work on your English. Just by yourself, improve yourself, basically. Like, work on yourself. Doesn't matter who is seeing you, because when you get a stage like this, it's the amount of practice you've put in behind the scenes that helps you, not mess up or not, basically, yeah, that's it. So like, improve yourself when no one watches, basically, that's it.
Doubt myself. Sometimes I doubt myself, even though I know I have all the capabilities of accomplishing it. See, Myron Williamson once said, our greatest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our greatest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that frightens us. We ask ourselves questions: who am I to be amazing? Who am I to be beautiful? Who am I to be awesome?
So what advice do you give other poets out there?
First of all, I've been doing this for 5 years, so yeah, I'm not like a professional. I would love to say so, but then I want to say, continue writing, continue writing, put videos out there and stuff, and you never know a spot, man. Open Poets on an Island, you never know. But I'm not saying people should join our group, basically, but I'm saying poets should feel free, and we're gonna have more events that are just bigger than us. But to begin with, you have to start by yourselves, and then we basically collaborate with so many people. So I want to say collaborations are going to come, sick things are going to come, sick videos, so many things. We're going to make poetry cool and something that's amazing to become of.
I feel like one of the things all the poets wanted people to achieve was that people could understand the poetic culture and see that like spoken word doesn't have to be like a cutting razor. It's like an art on its own. We don't need to use music and other stuff to pad it. Like spoken word on its own, it's an art, and if we allow it to grow, it's going to blossom. That's just it.
That hunger will only be satisfied when you realize that you are enough.
What inspires me to write? A bunch of things. Sometimes it's like a line. I have a line in my head and I'm like, you know what, I'm building something on this. Sometimes it's like a story. Sometimes it's like an event, and then sometimes it's like a question. I think, what if, and then I write. There's not one thing that inspires me to write. It's like a bunch of stuff, but yeah, that's it.
So what inspired you to create this wonderful event?
what inspired me? I wouldn't want to take credit, basically, but I think it's my family that I met through art, and I think the greatest set that I would have just done basically is how I met these guys and how not only learning poetry but then growing to have a family. So what inspired this is exactly what Ayo said. Like, I wanted people to realize that poetry on its own, it exists, and no shade on William Shakespeare, but then people think poetry is boring, and then I think we achieved something that was great. There were visuals, there were so many things that people did not know that poetry can go through and go to a certain extent. So I believe this event sparked a revolution. It sparked a generation that's willing to go out there, especially in North Cyprus. And I believe since we're the pioneers of this event, things are going to happen. And we aim and we have greater plans as Poets on an Island. Believe you me, yes. People should expect tours, and we're gonna shut down the island. We're gonna tour, we're gonna move city to city, filling our places with spoken word. Basically, we're just gonna be. I don't want to say we're gonna be rich and famous, but then we're really gonna go out there. It's a revolution that we've started, and we're working on a next event. Probably it's not gonna be in Mphokuhle. We're gonna move around, like I said. We're gonna tour. We're gonna tour this city and this country.
Sometimes I'm just plain selfish, just wanting to speak. But yet again, I'm reminded of the revocations of speech, how there is freedom of speech, which is likely not to exist after the speech. Whenever I see a microphone, I get excited about reach, to reach out, to reach in people's hearts. Not only will I speak, but I'll be heard. Right thing to do. But thinking like everyone else is wrong. But let us not prove them wrong. Let us prove ourselves right. I, for one, loves positive vibes hanging around me. But see, I do not seek validation or approval because I express. I do not impress.
Ladies and gentlemen, please. I just want all of us to. I get emotional about this. Oh, please, this is serious, ladies and gentlemen. As you know, last month, we lost thousands of lives due to that horrible disease. And I just want all of us to just take a moment of silence and remember all those lives that were lost due to the January disease. It's just been so. The one has always been our hearts.
And we're gonna just put things out there. And I love the fact that I love that. Not only I don't want to seem as if I'm not inclusive, but then the fact that we're an African cast, and people kind of think African people, when they combine together, they're just up to no good. But we're up to so much greatness, and we're gonna do that. We're gonna do that. We're gonna show that we can do stuff on an island that looks so shitty and not so nice. We're gonna do it.
This language has approximately 1 million words in its vocabulary. What is spoken word? But what is wrong with words? Nothing is wrong with words. See, words yield to a master. Whoever is behind those words determines the power of those words.
So everything you hear here is real. Parts of real lives from real people, just letting their words do the talking.
People hate and fear what they do not understand. Non-lyrical stitches for all the times they overlooked great words simply because they didn't like the face behind it. But face it, the world around us, embound by nothing but a force of verbs, a verbal tsunami, a dynamic rolling and rolling, taking hearts and minds like a poltergeist and occupying everything and revealing the disguises behind the hidden face in society. Those are words for you.
In case you're not seeing this, I'm Realize Mwase, a poet, author, and basically madman. Creative. Artist is the best way to define me because, what I do is more than just write. I also want to conceptualize and add more value and more detail to whatever art form I'm pursuing.
My name is Mphokuhle Ndebele. I'm a spoken word artist, a poet, and a feminist. I am here to use my voice to make this world a better place, basically.
Okay, so what inspires you to write?
For me, I know this sounds weird, but yeah, women. My mom is a very avid writer. Now she's a teacher, so she can't do much of that writing stuff too much. My mom used to come back from every family trip and describe the trip in her own words, and as a kid I used to look up to her doing that. I was like, wow, she is literally writing history just like that, and that really had a bearing on me. And as I went on in life, my encounters as well with other females have prompted me to discover this side of mine in which I can be comfortable in my own skin and say whatever comes to mind.
And while I was looking at the dog and wondering what I would do if the canines ripped into the very fabric of my soul, a wolf appeared and distracted my enemy. So the two went off in hot pursuit, and I closed my eyes, opened them to find a girl on the beach holding out ice cream. So I sneezed and ditto, frozen in my tracks, and she was gone. Worst part was she was naked, but now she was gone. So she's gone, and I licked the ice cream that she left me, and it smelled like 4 years of trying to make a writing career work. Ladies and gentlemen, that is how you write a narrative from nothing. I'm Ree The Wordsmith.
Tonight, for example, if I have to swear, I am free because that's poetry for me.
Today, as I was dressing up, I chose to wear no underwear. A fashion choice to avoid a visible panty line. An artistic choice because today I intend to give you the rawest of me. What comes next is real.
It's my time to be either vulnerable, free, to express myself completely. And really, when I'm writing or when I'm speaking, that's the safest space for me, and I don't care who or what is around me. Yeah, so that's why I love poetry, because it gives me freedom.
I wrote my first suicide note when I was 11. I call it the ode to the stranger that never came, the ode to that man in that building, that man in that shop, in that house, in that street, the ode to that man that never made it to me. I'm sure all the ladies know of him. I mean, he was the first lesson we were taught when we started using public transport home. We were told about him when we started frequenting the house of our best friend. You know, the one at the end of that shortcut, the one with the scary thicket? That's where he stayed, or waited, or prayed. My notes detailed how I waited or watched out for this man.
So I'm inspired by God's creation, basically. I mean, especially women. I mean, like when I go out there and I look at the trees, and maybe you see a cat scaring up a tree, there's something that can jump inside my heart, and I'm like, you know what? These are the insignificant details that we often overlook in our pursuit of this grand spectacle beauty. So for me, the beauty in those little things, the small things, the minute details, those nuances to the environment, they prompt me to write. And besides, I'm an antisocial person, and that's the only way I can connect with the world.
In spite of the times that you cast aspersions, what else can we do but let our words speak?
They called and we answered. We are the assassin's bullet, the butcher's knife, the artist's pen. We are the photographer's lens. We are he that answered when everybody cowered. We are
the last of the broken. We are the last of the outspoken. We are the ones that never shake the quake beneath the sands of time. We are the remnant of the believers of art. We are those that can never be torn apart. We are those that can never be snapped away. We are those that bring those that have been snapped back. We are the ones that remind Superman that he still has Lois Lane. We are both the kryptonite and yet the Batman. We are those that roam in the dark and we aren't afraid of the shadows. We take them because we are the salt of the earth. We are the light that shines at midday. We are poets on an island.